There's a silent crisis brewing in the American West. As beautiful as our national parks and forests are today, this landscape is a withered remnant of the wild place it once was. Wolves, icons of wilderness in the United States, have disappeared from the lands they used to call home. As a result, entire ecosystems are unraveling. Without wolves, overpopulated elk and deer relax without threat in places like Rocky Mountain National Park, gnawing native trees to the ground. Without trees, many species cannot continue to live. Songbirds do not have habitat. Beavers do not have building materials. The ecosystem cannot sustain itself. This is why we must return wolves to the West. The West needs them. Unlike many other carnivores, wolves hunt cooperatively and openly chase deer and elk, keeping them on the move. With this system in place, aspen and willow trees are allowed to thrive along with all the wildlife that depends on them. This makes such a huge difference that scientists liken the wolves' ecological influence to that of fire and weather. It is only now that we are realizing the true impact of wolves and the cascade of damage that occurs with their absence. Wolves didn't vanish on their own. By the early 1900s, the livestock industry began a crusade against wolves in the United States. When private efforts failed, Congress stepped in, forming a special agency tasked with wolf elimination. Federal agents tracked down and killed the last wolves who had names like Three Toes and Lefty, who were the true outlaws of the West. 40 years later, all wolves were extinct in the wild. Not only had they disappeared, but they were barred from returning. By 1995, in response to mounting pressure and the urging of scientists, the government yielded and decided to reintroduce the wolf in a few designated areas. Biologists began releasing wolves back into Yellowstone and central Idaho, and within less than a decade, wolves had reclaimed a small section of their former home. Today, these sections of the West are recovering. Though the Yellowstone wolf experiment is an initial success, wolves have reclaimed only 5% of their range of the lower 48 states. Despite this modest recovery, the livestock industry keeps constant pressure on the government to decrease protections for wolves and prevent them from living in the areas which need them the most. Though popular myths label wolves as our enemy, they are in fact no threat to humans, nor have they ever been. Without question, wolves need the West to recover, and the West needs wolves for revitalization. We need to restore wolves so that they may in return restore the places we value. From Colorado's Rocky Mountains to the forested rims of the Grand Canyon and down to the greater Gila, bringing back wolves will bring back the wild. I'm Alan Arkin. Please join me as I support WildEarth Guardians in wolf recovery. Together, let us fully return wolves to the West.